Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a close look at a pretty specific piece of audio. It's titled Obama Divorce Happening Now, Breakup of Michelle's Fake Marriage, .mp3.
Hmm.
Our goal here is really just to understand the claims being made in this source about the Obamas, specifically right after the presidency ended.
Exactly. We're focusing purely on what this source is saying, how it builds its story. We're not here to, fact check it or agree with it.
Right, just laying out the narrative presented in this particular material.
Precisely. It's about understanding the message itself.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The audio kicks off right at that moment, doesn't it? The Obamas leaving Trump's inauguration.
It does. It paints a picture describing them traveling together, same vehicle from the White House, then the chopper.
And then Air Force One landing in Palm Springs. It sets a very clear starting scene.
Yeah, and then it talks about where they stayed. This beautiful house, apparently with an 8-car garage. And it identifies the owners as two men Obama knows very well.
Yeah.
Specifically, his Spanish ambassador and his partner.
Ah, right.
The source sort of emphasizes this, calls the relationship pretty cozy. It even mentions these hosts taking selfies from Air Force One. Small details, but the source highlights them.
Interesting choices, but then, according to this audio, things change quite suddenly.
That's the claim. It says, quote, something freaks Michelle out.
Freaks her out.
Yeah, leading her to, allegedly, leave Palm Springs entirely on her own. The source describes Obama looking pretty upset watching her motorcade drive off.
A solo departure heading to a private airstrip. It's presented as, well, quite dramatic.
Definitely. And the source follows this thread. It claims Michelle then boards Richard Branson's private jet.
Alone.
Alone. That's what it stresses. It says there are 0 photographs of Obama himself boarding this plane. She supposedly flies to Necker Island, Branson's place in the BVI.
Okay, so a separate trick. Does the source address the official explanation?
It does. It mentions the official story was apparently about rain in Palm Springs,
Yeah.
but the source dismisses this, kind of scoffing at the idea of bad weather there, suggesting there must be another reason.
Right. So bringing all these points together, what is the source actually arguing? What's the main takeaway it wants listeners to have?
Well, it's pretty explicit. It asks directly if the phony Obama marriage is officially over.
Phony marriage.
That's the term it uses. It asks if the show is over, implying these events are proof the marriage was ending or perhaps never real.
And how does it support such a, well, a huge claim? What's the evidence presented?
It leans heavily on one specific moment. It points to a video clip where Michelle Obama is apparently on stage and seems to stumble over her wedding year.
Forgetting the year?
Yeah, she fumbles, guesses the decade, according to the source. And the source interprets this single instance as proof positive. Quote, phony marriage, fake marriage.
Wow, okay. That seems like quite a jump from a moment of forgetfulness. Is there anything else?
Not substantially, no. It does briefly mention some other older claims about their daughters possibly being adopted or borrowed, sort of throwing that in. But mainly it comes back to that wedding date clip and the separate travel. It contrasts Obama, quote, playing golf, while Michelle has already ditched Obama and she's down in the Caribbean. This is framed as happening just 2 days after leaving office.
So the timing is key to their argument.
Very much so. And it even throws in some speculation about why Michelle might have left Palm Springs, wondering if Obama was, quoting here, getting a little too frisky with your two hosts.
Tying it back to the ambassador and his partner.
Exactly. It connects those dots to suggest a reason for the supposed split.
So to wrap up, we've really just walked through the narrative presented in this one specific audio source about the Obama's marriage and their actions right after the presidency.
And I think what's interesting is how the narrative is built, isn't it? You see the selection of details, the timing, the weather, the hosts, that one specific stage moment. It takes these elements and weaves them together using inference and suggesting connections to build a very particular and quite speculative story about their personal relationship.
It definitely shows how a narrative can be constructed. So thinking about this, what stands out to you listening now? How are details like these used to shape perceptions of public figures? It's something worth considering how stories get built.